Now wait a minute, because episode 6 of Real Housewives of Rhode Island said enough with the passive aggression. Let's fight for real. My plugged in friends, this episode had breakups, trauma dumps, girls trip tension, and baby, one of the nastiest reads we've seen so far. This is Side Eye and Sip, where we take a look, we pause. Oh baby, we gonna read between the lines, and then we're gonna unpack the mess. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Nicci Noir. So let's get into what happened, what we know, and then we're gonna unpack these ladies' mess. So this episode, a quick disclaimer. This is side eye commentary, and it's for entertainment purposes only. All opinions and observations expressed are mine, and they are based on publicly available content and alleged events. I do not personally know any of the individuals discussed. I'm simply observing and giving the situation the side eye it rightly deserves. Please do not use my content to attack or harass anyone. And remember, don't come for me unless I send for you. So this episode opens with Kelsey and Liz talking about the end of Kelsey's relationship. And honestly, the scene, it was sad, but it was also giving grown woman conversation. Kelsey basically admits she finally realized this man was never going to fully commit to her. She wants marriage, she wants babies, she wants to be his number one, and that just was not going to happen. She reveals she found out he had more than one woman in rotation. Months out of the year, her man was living out of state with another woman. But what she did not know was that there wasn't just one woman, there was several women. So she told Liz it was just a culmination of things. And my guess is him juggling all these women, she just wasn't down for it. Remember, Kelsey met her main when she was 19 years old. She gave this man 10 years of her life. So that means for 10 years, she was living the soft girl life in this 16,000 square foot mansion. She had a live-in maid who would pick the seeds out of her lemons. She didn't have to do anything. He handled the bills. He handled the mortgage. He handled all of the heavy financial things. So Kelsey tells Liz that they decided, they had a grown-up relationship. They had a grown-up breakup. So what happened was they were laying in bed, and Kelsey basically told him their relationship had run its course. And he, of course, agreed. Hello, ma'am. This man was never and has never been serious about you. You gave this man 10 years of your life. And now that your biological clock is ticking, you're realizing, hey, I'm worth more than just being a pretty face, being a trophy girlfriend sitting up in a 16,000 square foot mansion. I want to be a wife. I want to be a mother. I want to be a partner. I want all of these things. The thing is, this man is not going to be the man to give it to you. So now the scary realization is that Kelsey she has to move out of this place, and she has to put on her big girl panties, and she has to learn how to pay bills. She has to be financially responsible, i.e., which is why I believe that she invited Ashley over to do her hair to get the ball rolling, to put herself back out there to say, hey, I'm now accepting clients. Remember me? Hey, remember me, Kelsey? I used to do hair. I'm taking clients now, and I'm going to be financially responsible to handle all of, my bills, which we find out that's really not true. But, that's what she's telling Liz, that she's really scared about this. So one of the things I love about Liz is that Liz came over to Kelsey's home, and she was helping Kelsey pack up. And so she gave her this compass, and it had positive affirmations in it. And Liz, being the big sister friend girl, she loves Kelsey, and she's poured into her positively, and she's going to be there for her. And so Liz also let it be known that she and Kelsey's main did go to high school together, and she still sees this man, as a friend. So Liz just gives her the positive reinforcement that she needs, and it's just basically, going to be there for her friend girl as she's navigating this new transition, in her life. Now let's pivot on to Joellen and Jenn shopping for the girls' getaway. Now, while they're shopping, having an emotional conversation about their childhood and the recent loss of their grandfather, who had been a stabilizing father figure after their dad passed in 2010. So it's like grandpa stepped in and he actually walked Joellen down the aisle when she married Gary. So as they talk, it becomes clear that Joellen's deepest trigger is betrayal and disloyalty, especially from people meant to protect her. So Joellen reveals she's never truly healed from her tumultuous relationship with their mother, who sent her away, and Jenn, to these behavioral programs as a child because mom believed her daughters were fast and too overdeveloped for their age. Joellen says she feels rejected, judged, and emotionally abandoned by mom's decision, while Jenn seems more accepting of their mother's behavior. Now, Joellen has said that Jenn, she felt, has always been their mom's favorite, and she just never felt this emotional connection with her mom. And you could see in this scene how bothered Joellen is by the lack of love that she says that she received from her mother. Jenn, on the other hand, seemed, just a little bit more lenient and kind of understanding why their mom, had sent them away. So this heart-wrenching conversation between Jenn and Joellen explains a lot about why Joellen is triggered when it comes to betrayal, which is why it's on sight whenever she sees Rula's husband, because he is disloyal. He has betrayed Rula. Joellen says Gary and her friends have filled the gap that her mother left behind. She looks to them for love, for protection, and emotional support that she never got. So now we head to Newport for this luxury mansion girls trip and a mansion. And they are ready to have a good time and shenanigate like we are used to seeing our housewives do. Shout out to Sevi, Liz's other best friend, for having the connect on getting the ladies inside this mansion. They're there. Kelsey decides, I want to sleep on the opposite end of the mansion. So wherever Rosie is, I want to be on that opposite side. So now all the friends are there except for Rula. Rula, where are you? Where are you? The ladies have been calling. They have been texting. Rula has been MIA since Polo Gate. And can you blame her? Brian made a whole fool out of you, sis. So Rula ain't gonna be answering anybody. And Alicia even says, listen, Rula deep down knows that her husband is a scumbag. So what y'all gotta do is stop telling her that the man is a liar, is a cheater. We kind of think that Rula knows. Rula knows her husband's behavior, but I guess the people feel like it's her pride. And so it's her pride. That's her man. She gonna
look at the screen.
That's mine. I'm going to stick beside him.
And that's what you're going to settle for.
I'm going to stick beside him.
Y'all already know Rula ain't coming on the trip. They didn't call Rula. They didn't text Rula. They didn't send out SOS smoke signals. Sis has been MIA since Polo Gate. And can you blame her? The embarrassment of someone you view as a frenemy who's really not trying to be your frenemy comes to you with time-stamped proof that your man, he was not going to see about his sick mother. He was going to spend time with his mistress, and her IG story proves it. And then when your frenemy tells you, hey, I'm gonna have some more proof for you, you tell her, okay, it's like you want the proof, but she has slowly been giving you this trail of breadcrumbs, but it's giving my pride. It's giving my frenemy is not going to get the better of me. She can say this, but we are still a united front. My man is not cheating on me. My man, when he leaves in the morning, he's going to the gym. He's not going to give his alleged mistress this coffee that you speak of. So Rula is MIA. Rula said, y'all can have it. Y'all can kiss my... I'm going to be at home with my man and the GPS that I have on him, because remember, Rula let us know that she is tracking her man, so she knows his whereabouts. Brian even said, hey, you know where I am. You're tracking me. So as the ladies are getting comfortable in the mansion, Liz decides she wants to throw a masquerade ball. So she tells the ladies she wants them to dress up in their best dresses, and she has these beautiful masks. And what she does is she's just like, hey, we're in this situation where I feel like everyone has their guards up, they have their masks on. People look at me as a wolf in sheep's clothing when it's the opposite. I'm actually a sheep in a wolf's clothing. And she has abandonment issues. So Liz's bark is worse than her bite. She keeps people at bay for a reason. And we come to find out that Liz's mother passed away when she was 15. She doesn't want anyone to get close to her, because the moment she starts to get close to people, she lets her guard down. That's when, you know, for her, shit gets real and people abandon her. So that's why she keeps her friends at bay. So she has these beautiful masks and she looks them over and she decides to give each of the ladies in the friend group a mask that is depicting their personality. So the butlers come in and she sends the masks off, and she gives we Bravo fans more insight into why she gave somebody like Joellen the jester, like the court jester mask. So it was cool. So let's get into what happened when these ladies sat down for some wine and some chaos. Now let's get into this masks on, masks off dinner table. Now, Liz, I have a quick question. Why would you give Ashley that mask where she could not breathe? Now, although I can't breathe in here.
You don't get to take it off, I don't think, Ashley.
What am I supposed to do? Not eat and drink?
All the other ladies could breathe, but Liz, Ashley could not breathe. That was a little shady. Okay, that was very shady. I'm sorry. When Ashley sat down and the ladies were being seated at the table, and she was like, how am I supposed to eat? How am I supposed to drink? That was funny. That was okay. So let's get into this dinner. The ladies sit down for the masks on, mask off dinner, which honestly was symbolic because everybody's mask started slipping at the table. This dinner got deep fast. It got deep. The ladies connected for a small second. Then we got into the drama. So Joellen opens up about being sent away to behavioral camps as a child and how it has affected her relationship with her mother. Liz talks about losing her mom at 15 and having abandonment issues. Even Alicia and Rosie started opening up emotionally. And now I'm starting to see why Liz gave Ashley that mask, because Ashley did not open up at all. It was weird. It was cringy. And then the energy shifted because somehow the conversation turned towards Rosie and Kelsey. Now, Kelsey says something that on the surface sounded nice. She tells Rosie this is the first genuine thing she's heard from her. So this is where Rosie tells everyone that she really is, she wants to be liked by everybody. But baby, this is not how Rosie received it. Again, I'm a firm believer in it's not what you say, but it's how you say things. So Rosie immediately gets defensive. Like, what do you think I've lied about? For some reason, Kelsey still feels like Rosie is being a liar about why she left the news station. So Kelsey starts bringing up issues, Rosie calling her relationship polygamy, Rosie not supporting her hair business, Rosie allegedly lying about other things, about the square footage of her home, about the real reason she left the station. Now, I'm sorry. arguing about the size of someone's house is the kind of rich people drama I don't know, but I personally enjoy like rich people problems. Sometimes watching these women argue, much to do about nothing. Watching these two women argue about the square footage of the house because Kelsey basically accused Rosie of exaggerating how big her house is.
You're attacking my house? You don't have a house. You're attacking my relationship, my husband? You don't have a husband. You're attacking my career? You've had one for about a year, maybe. It's a lot easier to project things onto me than to possibly be a target of everyone talking about what's really going on in your life. Shut the f up.
I say Rosie was dropping the bombs on Kelsey in her confessional. Of course, she didn't say these things to Kelsey, but in the confessional, they ate. That wasn't shade. That was a tangled missile attack. And honestly, this argument felt deeper than the actual words being said because to me, Kelsey is clearly spiraling after this breakup, and Rosie seems deeply insecure about how people perceive her authentically. So they're both throwing daggers at each other's weak spots. And that's what you do when you argue. You get down, you get dirty, you go for the jugular. That's why this fight, it escalated so fast. And honestly, Ashley started crying because she feels bad for Rosie, while Rosie is simultaneously arguing with everyone. Rosie just seems to be the girl that they all love to pick on. Awesome. Now, another thing this episode did really well was show how unresolved childhood trauma is shaping these women as adults. It is evident, it is clear as day in these women's behaviors. Joellen's issues with her mother, Liz's fear of abandonment, Alicia's homelessness conversation. Underneath all the glam and fighting, these women are actually deeply wounded and they're covering up their trauma with this concealer. And that's why this cast works, okay? Because when Housewives is only fighting, it gets exhausting. But when you understand why these women are the way that they are and why they react the way they do, that is showing the depth of this show. And that's why I'm sticking beside it. That's why I rocks with the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. By the end of this episode, everyone was exhausted, irritated, and emotionally exposed. And honestly, this girl's trip is only going to get more explosive from here. Because if episode 6 proved anything, it's that these women don't just want to throw shade anymore. They want to hurt each other. But all right, plugged in friends, that's all I got for now. Like I said, I always do my episode recaps out of order. I like to talk about the real poignant scenes, the ones that really just, the ones that boom, that hit, that you have to sit back and unpack. So was Rosie wrong? Was Kelsey projecting? Or are both of them low-key mean girls? And baby, how would you survive this girl's trip? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tap in for more side eye and sip with me, your girl, Nicci Noir. Get ready because episode 7 is in the works. All right, until next time.
But the street feels the beat. Chilling, go, we grind the night, we speak. Alright, my plugged in crew, you know the code. Yeah, we stream the vibes, speed out to the cold. They stay plugged in, cause I